Lizzo and her company are being sued by her former dancers, and some of the allegations against her are explosive. She was even accused of fat shaming her dancers. Can you believe that? To find out more, stay tuned and watch this video. Hello everybody, welcome to the Empressive channel. Lizzo is currently under fire and she's being sued by her former dancers Ariana Davis, Crystal Williams, and Noel Rodriguez. Now, all three of these ladies came together to file a lawsuit against Lizzo, her company Big Girl Big Touring, and also her dance captain Shirlene Quigley. They are claiming that they were sexually, religiously, and racially harassed. One of the shocking allegations is this. Lizzo allegedly took her dancers to a live sex show in Amsterdam's red light district, and they said Lizzo pressured her dancers to take turns touching some of the nude performers, allegedly. And also, they alleged, now these are some graphic details, but they alleged that Lizzo allegedly pressured them to catch toys launched from the performers' privates and also eat bananas protruding from some of the performers' private parts. And one of the dancers named Ariana Davis did not want to participate. In fact, Lizzo kept pressuring her to touch one of the nude performers and she was like, no. And then Lizzo's chant grew louder and more demanding. And eventually Ariana did what Lizzo asked because she probably felt like her job would be in jeopardy if she didn't do what Lizzo said. And Lizzo was wilding out. I think she was also asking her security to get up on stage and do something inappropriate. And a lot of the dancers around Lizzo were just aghast at her behavior and how little regard she had for them. She didn't even ask them if they wanted to even go to this show beforehand. They didn't know that Lizzo was taking them to a sex show. So Lizzo was wrong for that. If this is true, Lizzo was absolutely out of line for that. Also, the dancers that are suing Lizzo implied that Lizzo fat shamed them. Now, can you believe this? One of the dancers in particular, named Ariana Davis, said Lizzo pointed out that she was gaining weight and they would oftentimes ask questions about how committed she was to performing because they noticed that she put on a few pounds. And the lawyer representing the dancers in the lawsuit said that Lizzo would privately weight shame her dancers and demean them in ways that are illegal and demoralizing. Wow. Now, this is crazy to hear. This is crazy to hear because Lizzo is the same one who cries and cusses people out anytime they shame her about her weight. Lizzo has been body shamed throughout her whole career, and she has been the one who claims that she speaks up for the big women out there. She has even tried to garner sympathy over being body shamed.
Sometimes I feel like the world just don't love me back. But a lot of people don't like me because of the way I look. And I'm like, it's fat phobic, and it's racist, and it's hurtful. I'm doing this shit for the big black women in the future who just want to live their lives without being scrutinized or put into boxes.
I wake up and we dance and we do cardio together and I go to the gym and I do strength training and I'm a vegan and I fucking eat kale. I got stamina, bitch, energy, bitch. So why the fuck does my body have anything to do with what the fuck you doing? So I do this for all the people, like big black girls, hell yeah. Big black girls with back fat, bellies that hang, long titties, fat arms, all the shit I got. Thighs that touch and rub and chafe and start fires. Double chins. I do this for all of us, but I also do this for people who are constantly getting criticized. Like, look around.
So as you can see, Lizzo has always been very outspoken when people would talk about her weight, and she has kind of been like the face of body positivity. And so the fact that she was allegedly making comments about one of her dancers' weight gain and allegedly criticizing her dancers over their weight is really crazy to me, and it's a complete contradiction to everything Lizzo represents and stands for. Also, there were some other complaints about harassment from Lizzo's employees. They would sometimes make racially charged and fat-phobic comments, and some of the dancers complained that they weren't being compensated fairly. And this is a big issue in the dance community because a lot of these dancers don't really get paid the way they should. So there were some allegations about unfair pay. Also, there was a complaint that Lizzo's dance captain would impose her religious beliefs on one of the dancers named Noel, and another dancer named Ariana claimed that this same dance captain would make comments about her virginity. So the work environment was uncomfortable for some of the dancers, and now they're coming out with a lawsuit because some of them are free to speak out now that they no longer work with Lizzo. One of the dancers named Crystal Williams spoke up during an intense meeting that Lizzo had with her dancers. In this meeting, Lizzo was accusing her dancers of drinking, and Crystal actually stood up to Lizzo and told her that none of them were drinking. And it so happened 5 days after that, Lizzo's tour manager fired Crystal. And Crystal did say that the manager told her that they fired her because of budget cuts, but Crystal doesn't feel like that's the case. She feels like she was fired because she stood up to Lizzo. And another dancer named Noel Rodriguez complained about the firing of Crystal, and she felt like Lizzo only fired her as an intimidation tactic. So I guess the dancers felt this anxiety that if they spoke up and didn't fall in line, they could potentially lose their jobs. But Noel Rodriguez did reach her breaking point and she actually quit. And according to the lawsuit, Lizzo responded by cracking her knuckles and balling her fists and saying she was lucky that she quit. Child. She also flipped her middle finger at Noel and yelled a slur at her, allegedly. Also, Ariana Davis dealt with a lot of fear. They had very grueling rehearsals, and one time during rehearsal, Ariana Davis soiled her pants because she was too afraid to leave rehearsal to use the restroom. Also, she got fired because she took out her phone and recorded while Lizzo was having a meeting with her dancers. Lizzo was very furious about this recording, and she and her dance captain berated Ariana. So this whole story is absolutely crazy, and when you hear these things, it just seems like a complete contradiction to the persona that Lizzo portrays. She claims that she's about love and empowerment and positivity, and to hear that her dancers have been working in a hostile environment like this is really unfortunate to hear. And I will be honest, I was a little skeptical when I first read this article because I read two articles, one by Variety and a more detailed article by NBC News. And when I was reading all of this, I was like, what? I don't know if everything is 100% true here. I definitely still want to wait until more information comes out, and I do think Lizzo needs to respond to these claims, but it's looking a little worse for her because now more people are speaking out. In fact, one director named Sophia Allison, who worked for Lizzo, said, "I usually do not comment on anything pop culture related, but in 2019, I traveled a bit with Lizzo to be the director of her documentary. I walked away after about 2 weeks. I was treated with such disrespect by her. I witnessed how arrogant, self-centered, and unkind she is. I was not protected and was thrown into a messy situation with little support. My spirit said to run as fast as you can, and so I'm grateful I trusted my gut. I felt gaslit and was deeply hurt, but I've healed. Reading these reports made me realize how dangerous of a situation it was. This kind of abuse of power happens far too often. Much love and support to the dancers." There is another dancer who is not involved in this current lawsuit who is speaking out as well. and her name is Courtney Hollenquist. She actually spoke out and said, "For clarification, I'm not a part of the lawsuit, but this was very much my experience in my time there. Big shout out to the dancers who had the courage to bring this to light." So Lizzo really needs to respond, because this is making her brand look bad. It's making her look bad. She's over here talking about body positivity and talking about how she's spreading love and everything. Meanwhile, she's allegedly acting like a whole villain behind the scenes. She's out here tearing down her dancers, allegedly body shaming them, berating them, intimidating them, making them feel sexually uncomfortable. I mean, she's doing a lot of crazy things, allegedly, and she has to release a statement addressing all of this, because once again, it's making her look horrible. And if it's true, if any of this is true, it makes her look like a complete and total hypocrite. And sadly, people who have insecurities like Lizzo oftentimes abuse their power, and they make other people feel smaller because it helps boost their self-esteem and makes them feel like somebody important, because for a long time they were made fun of and bullied. Lizzo talked about how she wasn't the cool kid at school. So now that she's rich and famous, she could kind of call the shots and kind of flex her power a little bit. And probably anytime she felt low about herself, she would take that energy out on her dancers. You know, when people would fat shame her, she would turn around and fat shame others, because she needed to bring somebody else down to lift herself up. This is how insecure people are. But yeah, I don't know if all of these allegations against Lizzo are true or not. Even though they do sound very convincing, we still can't assume that everything is true. But if they are, Lizzo and her PR team have some serious work to do. Lizzo needs to clean up her act, and she needs to kind of humble herself. And she also needs to make some serious changes so that the work environment for her dancers and employees can be a lot better. And I also think she needs to be a bit more professional as well. I could understand having fun with your dancers, but taking them to a sex club, I mean, Lizzo, come on now, you gotta be professional. So Lizzo needs to make some serious changes. She really, really does. Anyway, tell me what you all think about this whole story down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video if you care. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.